Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see about overriding in Java. We have already seen about what is overloading in Java. The method overloading is the process of giving the different parameters or different number of parameters or different types of parameters to the same method name. That is called as an method overloading. Now let us see what is method overriding, and we also see the difference between method overloading and overriding. So let us define first what is overloading. When two or more methods in the same class have the same name but different parameters, it is called overloading. That means there are two methods and the two methods are both in the same class. Two or more methods. Okay, so all the methods have the same class, are in the same class, and also have the same name, but it differs by the parameters. How? Maybe in number of parameters or the types of the parameters. Like we have seen in the previous example, add int, otherwise add int. So number of parameters varies. Sometimes add int float, add int. So here the type of parameters varies. So whether the type of parameters varies or the number of parameters varies, the difference in the parameters for the same method name which is in the same class is called as an overloading. Now what is overriding? When the method signature, what is signature? The name and the parameters. When the method signature are the same in the super class and the child class, then it is called as an overriding. So here the difference is there are two classes, the parent class and the child class. In the case of method overloading, this happens only in the case of inheritance. That means when you have a parent class and the child class, when inheritance happens, when the method is available in both the parent class and the child class or the superclass and the subclass, there we have the concept of overriding. So the same method name when available in both the parent class and the child class with the same name and the parameter, then it is called as an overriding. Let us see the difference between overriding and overloading. So method overloading is used to increase the readability of the program. That means here we are having the same name of the program. For example, the same process, maybe an addition operation or an input operation. So the method name is same, but the parameters vary based upon the necessity. That is called as a method overloading. That increases the readability of the program. Whereas in method overriding, it is used to provide the specific implementation of the method that is already provided by its superclass. That means there is a superclass and a subclass, and the method is already defined in the superclass. Suppose we are deriving a subclass using the inheritance concept, and then in the subclass also the same function is used, same method is used, then that is called as a method overriding. Second difference is method overloading is performed within the class. That means there is only a single class. The method names are same within the same class. That is method overloading. But in the case of method overriding, it happens in two different classes, which is in an inheritance is a relationship. That means a parent-child or a superclass subclass relationship. Third one is, in case of method overloading, parameters must be different. That means difference may be in the number of parameters or the types of parameters. But in the case of method overriding, the parameter must be the same. So same name and the same parameter. Only the location is different. That means the location of the method in the parent class and the same method in the child class. Then the last point is method overloading is an example of compile time polymorphism, whereas method overriding is the example of runtime polymorphism. So here this method overloading happens during the compile time itself. What does it mean is this polymorphism, that means the same method taking different forms, which is polymorphism. This happens in the compile time. That means when the program is compiled, when the Java compilation takes place, that time itself this method overloading is understood by the compiler, and accordingly the process will be done. But in the case of method overriding, this happens only in the runtime. That means when the program start executing only, this overriding happens, because that is what is called as a runtime polymorphism. Let us see with an example how to differentiate the overloading and the overriding. So this is the example of overloading. So here class overloading example, open the brace, and here the brace is closed here. So there are two functions, that is the methods. Add, here add is the name of the function, both are same, but the signature int a int b, here it is int a int b int c. The number of parameters are 2 in this first add method, here the number of parameters is 3 in the second method add. So now they differ in the number of parameters, but they lie in the same class. This is the example of an overloading. Now let us see for overriding. This is the example. So there is the animal class, and in that animal class we have a method called eat. So void eat, just printing the message system.out.println eating a message. Now class dog extends animal, here the concept of inheritance comes. Here the dog is the child class which gets the quality from the parent class, which is the animal class. Now here we are defining a method called eat, the same name and the same parameters. Here parameters are nil, there is no parameters for this function eat, and the function name is eat, the same name and the same signature. Here the message is system.out.println eating bread. Okay, so now here the same name, the function same name eat, and the parameters also the void parameter, there is no parameters, but the location is this eat function resides in the superclass, whereas this eat function resides in the subclass, which is the dog class. Now when the runtime happens, when the program is executing, based upon this situation, which function can be called, whether this eat function or this eat function is decided by the runtime mechanism. So this is the example of method overriding. And now let us have an example here. Class vehicle, class run, void run. So void run is the method. It just prints a system.out.vehicle is running. The message is given on the screen. Now create a child class, class bike extends vehicle, public static void main string args, at as usual the main program starts. Here we are creating an instance of the class, which is the child class. Child class is bike, parent class is vehicle. Okay, so bike obj is equal to new bike. We are calling the method obj.run. So here naturally this obj is an object of the bike class. Therefore the bike class, here the bike class, the method is actually run. But here already this bike class extends the vehicle class. So from the vehicle class the message run system.out.println vehicle is running. This output is got. Now let us see by the next example how the overriding takes place. Now the same example extended, class vehicle, definition of the method void run system.out.println vehicle is running as usual as the previous program example. Now creating a child class, class bike2 extends vehicle. We are again creating a new class called bike2, which is the child class, and the parent class is vehicle, same parent class only. We are creating a new class called bike2, and here we are defining the function, same function void run, but with the different statement system.out.println bike is running safely, for example. Okay, now we are creating public static void main string args bike2 obj is equal to new bike2. Now we are creating an object for the class bike2. Okay, and now when you call this method, now obj.run, now the method called is this method and not this method. Okay, because we are using the same signature, the method name with the parameters or the no parameters, the method name, which is defined in both the child class as well as the parent class. When the same function is defined in both the child class and the parent class, the system overrides the parent class and the content of the child class will be printed as the message. That means the child class will be executed. But see the previous example, here there is no new definition of the run function in the child class. Only the parent class has the definition of the run class. In that case, the message is printed as it is. But when the same function name is used in the child class also, the system overrides the process, and instead of using the parent class method, it is using the child class method, and this is called as an overriding. The method is overridden instead of the parent class to the child class, and this message is printed instead of this message. Bike is running safely. So that's all. This is the difference between how the method overloading and method overriding takes place in Java. Thanks for watching.